Hello, chaps and chapettes. I'm here with Sam Bailey. He is a deal sourcer, just like me. And do you want to tell us a bit about yourself, Sam?
Yeah, so I am a property investor myself, but I also source buy-to-let properties for busy professionals and small business owners. We focus on sourcing properties in Kettering, which is a really high capital growth area, so great area for buy-to-let properties.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so Kettering, in terms of the area, what's going on there? And Northampton as well, you said, is a big area of regeneration. What's going on?
Yeah, so the whole area of kind of Northamptonshire, which includes Northampton, Wellingborough, and Kettering, it's been identified for significant investment to basically accommodate the economic success of London. So there's multiple huge developments going on in the area, and I'm kind of talking about developments that are over 5,000 homes on and around the outskirts of Northampton. There's one in Kettering, which is going to increase the population of the town by roughly 10% over the next few years.
That is huge. So 10% increase in population, and you said there's probably demand as well. So you're one example of someone that lives in Northampton and commutes to London a few days a week. So that's certainly accessible for people that want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So it captures both people that want 2-3 bed terrace houses for their family. But also working professionals that might want a two bed house, and they commute into London once or twice a week. It's got great connections in terms of you can be in London in an hour on the train from Kettering, and obviously you get much more for your money in Kettering than you would do anywhere closer to London.
Yeah, I mean, just as a comparison, so there's places in Essex, a place called Colchester. It takes an hour to get to London from there, and Essex is the home county. And when you're talking about the same time from Kettering, the house prices are probably much more favourable as well compared to Essex. So it must be a fantastic investment area.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you're looking at £160,000 for a 2-bed terrace in Kettering. I don't know what the prices are around.
That's in today's market. I mean, for Essex, you're talking, a bit higher, probably 250, something like that for a 2-bed.
Yeah.
Depends the area. I mean, same as every place, depends on the area.
Yeah. So it's great area to invest.
Good stuff. So let's dive into some more recent events, Sam. So last night we both were in attendance for the Fontaine Brothers networking event, or their first ever one, first of many hopefully. That was in Birmingham last night, and it was really good to see well over 100 people who are doing the same thing as us, from all walks of life. Many are sort of at the beginning of their journey. Some have, there's one example, they've sold sort of £75,000 worth of deals, so that's not even property value, that's deals in 2024 alone, so just in Q1 basically. So some people are really smashing it, and it's just really enlightening to be part of that community, and that was literally just last night. So we're fresh off that, and it's a really good event.
It's really good community to be part of, and to have 100 like-minded people in the same room at the same time who kind of all want the same things and all want to support each other and kind of work with each other and kind of share our successes and all kind of help one another to achieve our goals.
What I noticed last night, so you got the likes of Sam Joy and the two Fontaine brothers that were obviously mainly doing the talks, but there's a clear trajectory and there's a clear drive and growth as to where their company's going, and obviously we're a part of it, luckily, which is great. And it's just there was a whole buzz. The group chat last night and this morning was going crazy. Everyone thanking each other and sharing their ideas and stories last night with each other. It was just a great environment to be in, so Sam is actually also He's a graduate of Aspire Property Group, so the same as me. You did your course a few months before me.
Yeah.
We're both graduates, so yeah. Do you want to tell us a bit about Aspire as well?
Yeah, so I mean, I've basically been with Aspire for nearly a year. I started with their 3-month program, which was a great starting point, just to kind of get to grips with property investing, and just understanding, what sort of things to look for, what sort of things make a good property deal. And then I've been with them for a further 6 months, where we kind of really got into detail in terms of more kind of creative strategies and kind of ways to monetize property in
Yeah, it's a bit more advanced, isn't it? Part of the academy.
Yeah.
We have quarterly meetups as well.
Yeah.
Similar to last night, but just a different company, and they're fantastic. They're really great, like so insightful. The days you've got guest speakers who are like experts in what they do, and you can just pick out golden nuggets from what they say, and I've certainly found it useful.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have as well.
Yeah, massively. I think the big takeaway for me is I feel like I have a toolbox, so that when I'm speaking with sellers, I can offer them a solution that's a win-win, both for them and for myself as an investor.
Yeah, I think that's so important to touch on. So what we do really is it's very much a solutions service. So a seller might have had horrible tenants in their property, trash the place, and just want to get rid of it. And this is where someone like myself and Sam can come in, help them to sell it at a fair price based on the condition of the property. We want them to be happy with the outcome, and selling it on to investors as well. So refurbishing it after purchasing, and yeah, the whole thing is meant to be a win-win solution. Like it's not only the seller or the buyer or even us. We're providing business to solicitors, to brokers, to bridging lending companies. So there's so many people that benefit from this. And also, if you renovate a house, for example, and I mean the house is trashed, right, on a terrace property, a 2-bed, on a street in Birmingham, for example. That's going to bring that street to life as well. So it's going to benefit the neighbours, because they don't have to look at this house that's been maybe boarded up or like the rubbish, like a skip outside the front or anything. So it's like there's all these indirect benefits that coexist with what we do.
Yeah, and I think I would say this is what sets us apart as property investors. And I'll give you an example of a vendor that I spoke to recently, who'd had their property on the market, and when I first spoke to him, he said he was very sceptical of property investors, because his property had been on the market and he'd just been receiving lowball offers from other investors. But when I came along and was able to offer him a creative solution, and I spent time to understand his situation, how I could
What was
help
that creative solution? What was that?
So I offered him a lease option. Essentially, he wanted to sell his property for the market value, and he'd received offers from other investors, sort of 20%, 25% below the market value.
Yep. And he wasn't willing to part way with that property for such a discount.
Yeah.
So that's where he came in with a lease option.
Exactly.
I mean, again, you said it's creative strategy. It certainly is. Do you want to just give a very quick overview of what a lease option is?
Yeah. So a lease option is essentially where you agree to take control or rent a property from a vendor for a set period of time, and during that period of time, up to 7 years, for example, you have the right but not the obligation to buy the property at a pre-agreed price, and that pre-agreed price will usually be the market value.
But it's important to note, so that's the pre-agreed price of the market value today. So the seller's happy because they're getting the market value what they're expecting, but you can buy it in 7 years at today's price. So it might have increased. So was it 170? Did you say?
Yeah, so I think it was one. It was on a. He wanted 180 for it.
He wanted 180. So in 7 years' time, it might be worth 200. And you've taken control of that property for 7 years and agreed at 180. So there's 20 grand worth of equity in there, which you can either sell and take it on, or just buy it and then continue to rent it out as you have been.
Yeah, absolutely. And 180 was the fair market price at the time for that property. And as you can imagine, as a seller, if he's getting offers of 140, he's probably not going to be very happy with that. Yeah. So by being able to offer him 180, even if that is in the future, that is more appealing to him. And the fact that I can take control of the property, because this guy was in some debt, so he couldn't afford to continue paying the mortgage. So by me taking control of the property and taking over the mortgage almost immediately, that also kind of would have worked for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, so the seller was happy with the deal. It was a creative solution that you provided, which I think more than pays for your sort of commission, basically for the investor, because you've thought of this opportunity. You've done all your due diligence and your hard work to think of something outside the box, which not everyone knows about. So kudos to you. That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and so we've been here as well today at the Property Investor Show.
Yeah. So today at Excel, what's it called? Property Investor Show. It was at Excel in London, near Canary Wharf. Myself and Sam went down to just look at all the products, look at what's available. There was solicitors there. There was different products that I currently use, actually, which is Property Engine. There's just so much. There was so much to see, so much to do. Caught up with our old friend Jamie York at Aspire. He was there on his little stage, talking to everyone. And you actually had a decent success with some accountants as well, didn't you?
Yeah, so I spoke to some accountants. I think one of the reasons I came down here is I offer a hands-free service in terms of finding the property for the investor, and that means having the best and the right solicitors, accountants, and brokers. And coming to an event like this allows me to speak to different brokers, different solicitors, and understand who can offer the best service that kind of fits my clients. So I think it's important to continue to
definitely.
It's top notch.
Today for me as well, same as you, is just building that power team. So I do work with a number of solicitors. And one particular company, I'm not going to shout them out, but one particular, they're just very, very slow and pretty unresponsive. And if there is a delay in the conveyancing process, I'd much rather be able to pick up the phone and ask the solicitor, okay, what's going on, and they give me a truthful answer, because the investor's going to be on my case, saying what's going on. And if I just go back to them and say I don't know, they're not picking up, it doesn't look very good. So I really tried to draw that in today with a new company, and got their contact details. So I'll definitely be in touch with them, adding them to the power team, and hoping for a little bit more better success for them. I think
sounds like a win then.
It's a personal win. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
But also for your investors, right? When you
of course, that's the main outcome, isn't it? Really, yeah. Because if it's in conveyancing for X amount of time, we just want to minimise that as much as possible. And something I certainly picked up from our training is that you don't really want to go for the big companies, for solicitors who take on 70 cases a month. You want to go for maybe the much smaller companies, or even individuals. They may cost a little bit more, but they'll have dedicated cases like that they're working on for a whole day, or they might only have 6 or 7 each, and they're the better ones to go for. They do cost a little bit more, but you got to just weigh it up in terms of value. So do you want to spend more for a quicker outcome, or are you just not bothered about the time? And in that case, then definitely big companies, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Jamie always says, "What price is what you pay, value is what you get," and I guess the other way to look at it is pay cheap, you pay twice, sort of thing. So it's not always the best solution to find the cheapest provider. It's who's going to give you the value and who's going to offer the best service for the best price, basically.
Yeah. So just want to sort of change subject a little bit, talk about some goals for 2024. So we've finished Q1 now, mid-April, I think. Don't even know what day it is. And so what are your goals then, Sam, for the rest of the year?
So I'm looking to expand my own portfolio. I'm currently actively searching in Kettering for my own portfolio. So I invest in the places that I source for investors. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to add to that this year, at least one, maybe two, depending on how quickly things go. And I mean, I'm also looking to onboard investors at the moment. We've got a couple of spaces available to onboard investors, and I can help them in a hands-free way. And part of the reason why I set up this business is I do really enjoy helping people. The more people I can help.
I just want to jump on that and say, and just completely agree with what Sam's just said about helping people. So, we have different communities and group chats and whatever, across Facebook, across WhatsApp, and if there's a question out there, Sam, often I see his name pop up. He often answers questions. So he's not just in it for himself. He wants to help other people like myself. He's a fantastic person to work with. I can vouch for him. So if you're interested in investing in Northampton, Kettering, and Wellingborough, Sam's your man. He really is.
Appreciate that. What about you? What are your goals?
My goals, very similar to you actually. So this month I'm looking to take on 2 bespoke clients. I've got space for 2 more, and just sourcing properties that are specific to their criteria, whether they want a 20k profit in 6 months from a quick flip. That's something I can help them with. Or if they want to do a BRR, so buy, refurbish and keep the property and rent it out, that's something I can help with as well. So I'm looking at there's a few potential clients that I'm really hoping that they're going to come on board. And so the 2024 goals really is just to continue building the business, automation, everything like that. I want to take on some virtual assistants in the Philippines quite soon, just to free up a bit of admin time for myself, so I can really dive into property and focus really where I should be, rather than like accounting or something which I'm absolutely useless at. But I think we should aim high. Like it shouldn't maybe for you, it shouldn't just be 2 this year. It should be, can you do 3 or 4? And for me, 2 bespoke clients. Okay, maybe this month, but then can I have 5 or 6 by the end of the year, and dedicate time to these people, and really probably only need 4 or 5 consistent clients that we work with and have a long-term relationship where we can build a 6-figure business in property, and ultimately that will allow me to quit my day job, which is the ultimate goal. I set a target when I joined Aspire back in September for it to be a year. We're now 6 or 7 months in. It's not looking very promising, but I'm in it for the long term. If it's a year, if it's 2 years, if it's 3 years, I don't care. I know that property will be my thing.
Yeah.
But having said that, my day job, we spoke earlier, I'm a quantity surveyor on HS2, and the transferable skills are fantastic. So like cost reporting to clients, ethical negotiation, financial analysis, critical decision making, all of these things are really transferable, and especially with refurb. So doing due diligence on the numbers of of builders' quotes, actually managing them as well during the refurb is something I've been doing for 4 or 5 years on HS2 in Birmingham and in London. So yeah, there's a lot I can take from being a QS to being a DS.
Yeah.
Deal sourcer, by the way.
I just want to jump on what you said about you're looking for 5 or 6 really good consistent clients. I think that's kind of what Alex is kind of doing differently, and that's he's sourcing deals, but he's looking to build those long-term relationships with people. There's a lot of deal sources out there that are looking for a quick sale of a deal, but Alex really kind of takes the time to work closely with the investors, understand what they want. Alex, he's a great guy. We've kind of met a number of times now. I'm a pretty good judge of character, so I don't tend to
I appreciate that, mate. Yeah,
hang around with people that are not legit or.
I'm not a salesy person at all.
No.
I'm not like gonna shove a deal in your face and say buy this. It's unbelievable. It's gonna be X amount of profit. I'm not like that at all. I'd much rather build that long-lasting relationship with someone, but who's gonna come back to me for the second, third, fourth, fifth, 35th, 36th deal. It's a long-term investment in myself, in that person, to build together. And I want to work with people that I actually get on with, and it's a pleasure to work with, not any time wasters or not anyone that is a pain to work with. I have dealt with that in the past, and it's just not a pleasure. So I want to work with people that respect me, I respect them. They value my time, my service, and they know that what the benefits are for them. So that's the main thing, really, rather than just sending a deal out hoping for the best. I want those consistent, valued clients.
Yeah, and your knowledge of the area of Birmingham, is really good. You've lived here you don't anymore, but you lived here for 3 years, so you know the area, you know the streets.
That's right. Yeah. So I lived in mainly the south and the city centre. So there's a place called Acox Green. I lived there for 6 months. Solihull for a year. I lived in the city centre as well, and Moseley for probably longer, about 2 years in all. And so I know the area really well.
Yeah, which is the most important thing, because like I say, you get a lot of sourcers who are sourcing deals in places that we've never even been to, and it can really go pear shaped if you're sourcing in areas that you don't know. You have to know this almost street by street.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So I could easily do my research in like the northeast, for example, and understand sort of areas where to invest in stuff. But I mean, for Birmingham, for example, there's certain areas where, the Jewellery Quarter where I used to live in the city centre is a fantastic place for young professionals like myself. I'm literally an example of that. But if you just literally walk 5 minutes north, you're in an area called Lozels or Lozels. I actually don't know how to pronounce it, but there's like a lot of gang crime there. So that's an area you'd want to invest, not want to invest. Sorry, don't invest there. So yeah, it's just having that just knowledge off the top of your head, like without even research, that I think impresses clients and is valuable as well.
Yeah,
and even like street to street, like you said. So Bearwood is a really up and coming area to the west of the city, just down Hagley Road. Some fantastic restaurants. There's actually a Mexican there called Ala Mexicana. The unbelievable Mexican food, if that's what you're into, so good. But yeah, and then if you just literally drive straight up the road, there's an area called Smevic, which is unfortunately quite run down, and the property house price has just dropped by about 50k. So there may be scope for investment there, but probably not capital appreciation, which is maybe something that people forget about when they're just buying a property. You want to look at that long-term growth and what it's going to look like in 10 years' time.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's I think we both source deals that are fundamentally grounded in the fact that they have long-term capital growth prospects. And, again, you can look, you can see some deals that look great on paper. They've got great cash flow, but they're in areas that are not attractive for people to live.
Or they're just in terrible areas that attracts a certain type of tenant, for example, who's just going to trash your property, and that's going to cost you in the long run when you've got to, maintain it and like basically refurb it again, because the bathroom's an absolute state, or I don't know what, but you can imagine what some of these tenants get up to. Sorry, a little dog barking over there. But yeah, I think let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed our chat, and thanks for taking the time to come and see me today.
It's been great. Good to see you again, mate.